In this lecture, I will explain how to use radio button, checkbox, drop down, list box, combo box, and date picker control in Power Apps. So what I have done is I have created a application, a canvas app, blank canvas app, which I have explained in different examples how we can create it, and on that I have added different screens. So I have tried to make this control example simple so that you will get to know how to use it. In the later point of time, we will have a different examples, because on all the modules, let's say we will discuss about SharePoint online list, so there also we are going to use this control. So here I have just explained, and also just to let you know that I will create a separate video where I'll explain about the validations. I've just tried to show one validation here regarding the date picker, but we'll have a different separate lecture for how to implement validation controls in or validations into these controls in Power Apps, right? So first one is Power Apps text input, radio button, and checkbox control. Now, if you look at this bar, right, it is nothing but a label control. So basically, you can insert a label control, make those drag it to complete this cover, whatever area you want, and then you can change the color. So if you'll see here, okay, the text I put over here, so this one, and that's the reason it is coming here. Now there are there will be a color property, you can see here, fill and color property. So the color will be this one, right? So you can change this color and it will become like a banner kind of things on the, or the header, you can say, right? So lot of canvas app or lot of screens, when you will design, you will need this kind of header where you want to display. And then I have added here one thing is, if you'll see here, there are, these are the label controls, but here is the input, text input control. And then I have a radio button here. If you see here, uh, radio control, again, anyway, you will see this controls here. So if you search for radio, you will be able to see this. uh, but what you can do here is, manually, if you go to the items property, and then you can see here square bracket, and in double quotes you can put the values here, and that values will come as an option. So you can see here information technology human resource, like this. And then I have taken, is job challenging, let's say something I have taken just to show a yes no field. If you'll see here, this is the yes no field. Here text is yes, uh, or text is no, whatever you want to do, you can do it. And then visible on, this property is on, default mode off or on. If I, you can see it here, when I say on, this box gets selected, right? So you can use that, those kind of options. There are other options like color and font and all these things are there. You can have a look at it, like everywhere this is, you can align. There are few properties on that top button, align things are there. So and also you can see here, check, mark, fill, that color also you can do, right? So that way you can do. Now what I have done here is, now in this case, I have taken a, you can see here, this is also a label control, and on this I have taken the code. Now if you look at here, full name, and then I have taken the text input dot text, and then you can see here, and then character 10. Character 10 is nothing but the line break. It will come in the next line. So just so that it will come in the next line. So I have given a line break over there, you can say, right? Then department. So department I have taken is radio dot selected value, and same way is job challenging. If checkbox value equal to true, then yes, else no, right? So that's how, and then you can see this is coming. So let me just run it and show it to you once. Now you can see here, I will, if I'll remove it, you can see here the value is going. If I'll say Bijay Kumar, you can see where it is coming. If I'll choose finance, it is finance is coming. I'll say yes, and then it is yes is coming, right? The other property I have done is, there's a save button. So just to show you how we can save it. So if I'll go to the on select property, as I said before, also button on select, whatever the code you will write, that code will execute whenever user will click on the button. Here, if you'll see here, I am creating a collection, all employee details and full name, whatever the name user is entering in this text input control. Then department, radio button dot selected, and that department will be there. Is job challenging? So if checkbox equal to true, like yes no, value it will save. and then it will notify that the details has been saved successfully, and notify that success, right? So now if I'll just run it, you can see here this is the value. If I'll just click on save, you can see details submitted successfully, and I'm not taken any control to show the collection. But what I can do here is, if I'll go here, this is the collection you can see, and if you'll say view table, you will be able to see the data. Okay, let me just see it here. If you'll go to the view table, yeah, you can see here this is department is not coming correctly. So let me run it again. Let's say I'll say sales or marketing. I'll click on save. Now the data save. Uh, so if I'll go here now, let me see the collection. You can see here marketing. So what there is a simply mistake was done is department radio dot selected dot value. So whatever the value will be selected, that will be saved, right? So that's the reason it was not saving properly, and I changed the code to dot value. It is saving now. And I'll again, as I said, I'll put the project so you can practice. So this is about how you can use this radio button control and this checkbox. Then I'll go to the next one is drop down. So in this case, if you look at here, pretty simple on this. I have done is manually I'm adding it, and then I'll select desktop. Here the result will come. Same way here, if you'll see here, I am adding from the SharePoint list, and then this values I am populating from the the text I have entered it in the code itself. Let me show you those things how it works. Now to bind a drop down, again you need to go to insert, add the control. Once you will add the control, then you can see items, and you will add this again in the square bracket, then double quotes, and then add the values. So the drop down values will be populated, and that's the reason you can see the values. And on this I have taken simply thing drop down dot selected dot value, right? So the value is displaying here, pretty simple. The next one is this one where we are taking it from a SharePoint list. So if you'll see here, I think this is, let me, so if you'll see here, sorry, this asset, inventory. So let me just see it again. Um, yeah, this is the list. So now if you'll see here, what we are taking here is choices. There is a column which is known as asset type. So now if you'll go to this is a asset type. So if you'll see here, if you'll edit it, you can see here computer, phone, printer, and laptop. So these choices we are binding it here into this drop down, right? So not the item, the list items. So in this case, we are getting the choices, right? So if you'll see here, that is the choices we are binding. And then now look at this text. So what we are doing here is I have taken let's say serial number, and I've just taken a hard coded text TS, and then I'm putting a switch case statement here, switch, and drop down selected dot value. If it is computer, then we are appending 0010 AA like a code, and if it is a phone, 0020 BB like this, I am trying to add it. So this is one way where we are binding the fast drop down. Then another one is, sorry, the text label control. The other one is same way for computer, phone, and printer and laptop. There is different person names I am just assigned, and that will come based on the selection value. Whatever you are selecting, based on that, this is changing, right? So if you look at it again, so if I'll select, let's say a printer, you can see here it is assigned to someone else. The serial number is different, right? So I just try to show you, like, how we can display information like this. Again, as I said, we are going to do a lot of examples where you will get complete examples from SharePoint list and stuff. But as a developer, you should know how to use these controls, right? So then this is about the drop down. Then list box also I have done the same thing here. uh, so if we'll go here, then I have this, where I have added manually, and then the other one I have added from a SharePoint list. Now look at the SharePoint list when I'm binding. So what I'm doing here is I'm binding the asset plus the serial number, right? So you can see here two column I am appending here and binding the values into it. This one you can see here, please select an asset to know the price. If I'll click on camera, the camera cost is this, right? So how these things are coming? So first of all, this control again, there will be items property like this list box, combo box, drop down. There will be items property which you can bind, right? So this one manually I'm binding. So in this case, if you'll see here, projector, camera, and desktop, desk chair. That's how you'll bind it, right? And on this, now if you'll select this text label, so here look at the code. What I've done is, if is blank, then show this message, please select an asset to know its price, which will come at the first time. Then I'm saying, if the this label this, um, this control list box control dot selected dot value, if is projector, then we have just hard coded dot the cost here, right? But you can change it, like let's say now you can bind the values from a SharePoint list. Those things you will do. But for this particular example, I have shown it also how, based on the selected value, you can also change the values like this. So if they will select camera, then it will come like this. Else it will come as 350 desktop chair cost. Now this one, if you'll see, so from the same list, I am binding in this case. If you'll see here, asset inventory, and in this case I am binding from two values, asset name and the serial number. Now look at these two. So what I'm doing here is, in this case is SP, then the serial number, and that is the reason what I'm doing here in this case is, in the items property we are using concatenate function. When you will read about functions, you will read about more, but as a developer I know you have some idea about functions, how we can use it. So the functions will take these parameters. If you'll see here, asset inventory dot title. So this is basically our the data set which is coming, and then the title is the column name. And same way, I am putting a hyphen, and then I am putting dot serial number, right? So it will bind title serial number. You can see it here, right? So this is the list box control you can use. Same way, there is a combo box control. The combo box control, if you just select it here, I'll just show you how it works. It has little different mechanism of working. You can see here, the moment I'm selecting, you can see it is coming. So I will select it again, then that will go. When you can click on the cross button and you can add. So you can remove an item. The good thing is you can select multiple items on this, and this is how manually you can add it. And the values how it is coming, I'll show you. This one is from the Microsoft 365 list. I'm just binding the users. This one is also I'm binding it from Microsoft 365. This is from a SharePoint list. I'll show you all these things. Now, if we'll just select it again, items property, as I said, these are the controls which will have multiple things you can add, options you can add. US, Canada, Germany, UK, like this. You can see I have added. And this is again a text label control. How we can get it is, so basically just to remove the last comma. So I'm taking the left and minus one, so that it will take in between, like the last character. Basically, it will ignore if there will be a comma on this. Now we can see here contact this selected value, then comma, and then this selected item dot value. So um, basically I'm concatenating those things. This one is to concatenate, and this one, the second one, is to remove the last comma from there, right? So that's the reason you can see the comma is not coming. In the functions are there, we lecture will next, in fact next chapter we will discuss about the functions. You'll know more about it. Now here, you can also bind a combo box from a SharePoint list, from people picker control. All these things you can do. Now in this case, if you'll see here, I have used one list here. If you'll see here, the list assigned to list, and it can you can see here, this is a people column list, people picker list, and we are binding the values assigned to dot display name. That's the reason it is coming. If you want to bind the email address, you can do it also. Now the second one is, if you'll see here, we are taking from the Office 365 users, and so that will basically will give us the users from our Office 365 or the Microsoft 365, right? So I'm binding it. Now let's say you are creating a form where you want to have a assigned to field, or where you want to task assigned to. So those time people picker is very important, and you can use this combo box control to add even people picker people values on this. So this is how you can use the combo box control. Last one is the date picker. So date picker, again, as I said, you can select a date. In this case, if I'll select, let's say 25th, and I'll click on OK, you can see here the date is coming in this format. There is different format that you can select. I'll show you this. And the second one is a little bit of interesting here. I just put the validation on this. Suppose today date is 14. If I'll select 10th, I'll say OK, and I'll say validate user. So you can see here it is saying that date cannot be before the today. But if I'll select 15th, let's say today is 14th. So if I'll click on validate, you can see here it is saying that selected date is valid, right? Now, how I'm doing this? Now, if you'll see it here, first let me show you the manual approach today to the default date. So, what will happen is, this date picker control is there, and you can set the default date. Now, default date today means it will take today's time, and here how we can get this, the long date format. This is what you can do. Text is basically we are doing a typecasting to it. Like we are converting from date time to string because we are trying to display it in a label, and then date time value, date time your select date picker dot selected date, and the format that I want is long date. You can have other format also. You can see here date and time, long date, long time. Also different formats are there. You can choose according to your requirement. Next one, if you'll see it here, this one also what I have done is, if you'll go to the uh, default date, I have taken same today, but in this case I have put a validation on a valid date button. And what I have done here is, if date, whatever the selected date, if it less than today, then notify the user saying that the selected date cannot be before today, and it will show a error, so that the background will come as a red color, and then else you can say selected date is valid, and it will show a success or a green color message, right? So that's what we saw. So this is how you can use these controls. These are very useful controls. Almost every canvas app form that you will create, most of the time these are the controls which you can use. So I'll put this entire project, you can also see how we can use it, and also I'll put a screenshot of this this list also. So what will happen is, you can use this this list, you can make it, and you can practice it. So I'll see you in the next lecture.